This subject on the senior market, I renamed the title to 21st Century Wave of Tourism. That is the new wave of tourism. You are looking at an aging market. Instead of serving the silver wave, I say it is a tsunami. A tsunami is a very powerful trend. All the marketing in most places is aimed at Generation X and Y. Marketers use the wrong demographics. They are aiming at the group that is 18 to 49. The real spending power is in the baby boomers. Tomorrow's travel market will come from the baby boomers and to some extent the silent generation. Healthy 70-year-old, 80 years are still traveling. I'm still traveling. And I'm not unusual. I know many people in my age bracket. We also say something else about, the people in the front row who will be speaking are interested in building their brands. The baby boomers are still loyal to brands because they grew up with branding. Branding is the same as quality. But the generation following them, Generation X, are not brand loyal. We say Generation X like to take brands out for a date, but they never marry them. The baby boomers and the silent generation learn about brands a long time ago. They take them on dates and they get married. They're very loyal. That is a big difference in terms of the way you perceive things, or these generation perceive things. Baby boomerangers or generation have no loyalty at all. They don't believe anything because they grew up with a digital age. They're very independent. They get exposed to a lot of media. This group, you have to market differently. They read more newspapers. You cannot use normal advertising. You must use more infomercial, meaning more. You do advertise to provide more information because these two groups tend to look for facts. CT mentioned that maybe they are not as digital savvy, but that's not entirely true either. They're comfortable with technology, but they still prefer traditional. But they are, I know some 80, this woman's 93. She cannot travel anywhere without her iPad or her laptop. She's still in touch with everybody. And there are a lot of people just like her. The first three common value would be to rest, to relax, and recuperate, to get well. So that means what kind of vacation is important? Resorts are important. Going to spa. The spa industry will be the fastest growing trend if we are looking at the future. To spend quality time with family away from home, which means that travel consultants will need to find multi-generational products to recommend to their clients. To visit friends or relatives who live in other cities or countries. This is why timeshare has been booming lately, especially where people have relatives. They buy timeshares so they can spend more time. So those first three. But there are some differences between the boomers and the silent generation. And one of them, for example, that would be very interesting, because in Taiwan there has been discussion about should we have more casinos? Should we have no casinos, gambling? Well, the baby boomers do not like, there's a significant difference between baby boomers to visit casinos and gamble versus the silent older people. The 70, 80-year-old really do like casinos, but you know what they like about casinos? Slot machines. They sit there and pull the one-arm band, as we say, because it's a way to spend time, and it's interactive. And if they hit the jackpot, they're very happy. But it is also not a good thing from a social development standpoint. Here's Taiwan seniors. There are what we call the push factors and the pull factors. Push, motivation. What motivates them to take a holiday, to travel? Well, one is, as in the previous graph, which was based on Canadian-US market. This one is Taiwan. Rest and relaxation, still number one reason. Meeting people and socialization, number two reason. Self-fulfillment. What does self-fulfillment mean? It means that I am not through with life yet. I still have some ambitions. I still have some goals. They may not be the work goals. There are other self-improvement, for example, is a self-fulfillment. Finding more knowledge. This is why older people love museums, because museums offer a form of education. Or in communities with universities, older people love to attend seminars. And just to change the daily routine so that we're not. Life is boring when every day is the same. So travel offers a way of having a change. Those are the drivers, okay? So what are the pull? The things that, it's not only enough to have motivation, right? But you need to pull people, to attract people. What are attractions? Well, importantly, first factor is cleanliness and safety. McDonald's built its whole corporation on the idea of sanitation, of cleanliness. Older people do have fear of getting sick, catching diseases. So they look at sanitation, cleanliness, no matter what the product is, what the service is. First thing, when we have groups coming to Hawaii to buy, say, group tours, you know what the first thing they look at? Bathrooms. And they check the sinks. If they find any hair in the sinks, they say, woo, housekeeping is not so good. So safety, security. Then the facilities and the cuisine. Then events. Here in Taiwan, you have many wonderful events. I came to your Lantern Festival some years ago. There were 50,000 people there. Travel constraints, what holds them back? Well, perceive is the fear of the unknown. In other words, if I leave home, what is it going to be like in Taiwan? What will it be like in Japan? What will it be like in South Korea? We've never been there, so we don't know. So we need some assurance in some ways through the marketing message. So we also look for the reputation of the destination. Some destinations are perceived as being very safe. People have good experiences there. And we listen to what our neighbors have to say, right? People that have already been there. If they give a good report, seniors are more likely to believe the neighbors than even the commercials. And they read news report. They read travel advisories. So these are the things that create the perception. Now, in terms of reality, on the other hand, what holds people back? Well, health and disability. Not all seniors are equally healthy. There's a category that I call pets and plants. Especially among older people whose children have left, married, gone. So they adopt pets. And the pets are like their children. They won't go on a holiday without their pets. So some of the airlines and some of the hotel chains have been very smart. The Lowell Hotel chain, for example, carry a VIP program. VIP means very important pets, not very important people. And so the pets are welcome. They make provision. Delta Airlines encourage seniors to travel their pets because Delta will charge an extra fare for the pet. So it's very good for business too. If they have a lot of house plants, they're afraid, the plants will die when they're gone. Especially for Chinese, that's very bad feng shui. I'm Cantonese, so if your plants die while you're gone, bad feng shui. So those are things kind of, hold us back, and we're worried about finding someone to take care of that. But pets are more. I was just talking to the previous, our former governor's wife. She was born here in Taiwan, I think, Mrs. Cayetano. And she said, we need to get together. She says, I wanted to come to your birthday party in Hong Kong, but I couldn't because my dog is sick. I said, well, I'm glad that you love your dog, but I think I'm more important than your dog. And then, of course, family responsibility. So many seniors still have family responsibilities. You know what I mean? Because the Generation X, Generation Y is not doing as well economically as the boomers did. And so they still have to help out. And if not just from the standpoint of, of finance, sometimes help out in other ways. So many disputes, they need the parents there. Cost value, okay. Physical ability, aging problem, these are all personal reasons. Okay, what are they interested in? Okay, educational tourism, offering hands-on, interactive learning experiences. The key word is interactive. When I go to a museum, I don't want just to read the pamphlet. I want you to create visual excitement for me. Silver market, travel agency, F2F counseling, face-to-face. I can book my own travel. Sometimes I do. I still prefer a travel agent. Most seniors do. You know why? Because we want the expertise. We also don't always trust the internet. We know the internet will only put information that is advantageous to the seller. So we prefer to work with a counselor. If the counselor does not have any experience with the destination, we will go to a different counselor. So it is recommended today that within travel agencies, you create a senior center.